750 approximately.
Wow. Okay, so that's quite a bit. um, so how do you guys actually handle all of
So
those?
we have one from every student from prep to year 6, and one for every staff member, like teachers and teacher aides.
Yes, yes. Cool.
It's a big job to keep track of them all. Some of the students take the exos home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have to sign a contract and pay a little bit of money, but that doesn't exclude children who can't pay that money still get to use the exos in school times.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Now, teachers, what I'd like to do now is ask. So now that since you're one of the earlier adapters of the One Education and one laptop per child devices, how has it impacted the students since you started?
Um, the children just love them. I just love seeing them walking around with these little laptops in their hands. Um, Slightly mixed adoption rates with the teachers. Some of them, some of them are very keen and use them quite a lot.
Yes.
Other teachers, it's taken time to get used to it. But we're fairly confident that when we change to a more Android-looking platform, they're going to feel more comfortable with that.
Oh, perfect. Yep, yep. Um, so, and that's something I've committed to assist in getting going. Now, if uh, if you guys can turn on your uh, webcam,
Because everybody wants to be on the webcam.
of course, come on. So I've given you presenter rights, Julie and team. Would you guys be able to please just show us what you guys are really excited about regarding the
Well, the
regarding
thing
what you're
we're
doing?
really excited about is that, particularly in our year 3 level, they've been doing work with coding and looking at uh, using Lego to robotics kits to design things. And we had someone out to help us with how to with doing that.
Yep.
And what we've done is we've linked it to the new Australian curriculum. It just about covers everything in the curriculum that is needed as far as technologies goes. So,
One second.
That's
I
okay.
have an idea that the camera that we're using is not the webcam. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah. So I
No.
just need to find one.
it's the one on my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll keep going.
Yep, sure.
The children, we have a design type process that the children use using Scratch.
Yes.
And the process is they're presented with a design brief, and for example, the one we're going to show you is these year 3 students had to design a fairground ride, and then the children had to come up with the criteria that they wanted to evaluate their fairground ride. And so it might be something like it has to have a sound, it has to be exciting, it has to be safe, and for example, they might say it has to be pink, because if it's a group of girls, they want pink. So then they go to the ideation stage where they come up with some ideas and they share their ideas and, of what they want for their ride. We give them a little bit of instruction about, so this is, we show them how the motor and the shaft or axle or whatever it is, how it will turn, and that's basically what they find out about that. And so they come up with their design, and then they create it, and they use lots of trial and error. They
Mm-hmm.
might show them how to make it turn one way, and then they have to go away and play with that, and then they come up with that the problem. Well, oh, hang on a minute, I have to be able to stop it, or it's going too fast, you know. And they work through these issues and how they're going to change it so that it doesn't go flying off the end or whatever. So then this is, you can see one of them working now.
So that's being
Then
run from the
they have
XR?
to, sorry,
That's
it's
being run
being
from the...
powered by the XR. Yeah. Sorry. So, and they also do peripheral stuff like little signs and things, you know. They can use junk materials as well. So once they've created it, then they have to evaluate it using the criteria that they came up with. So you might they might have a scale 1 to 5 that says, I wish you wouldn't do that. It says that. So if the first one was sound, they might say, okay, so it has a really cool sound, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for that. And then the next one was about being exciting, so they might say, okay, 4 for excitement because it spins really fast. And then they might give themselves a 2 for safety because one of the men fell off. So if that was a real person, they would die, you know. And then they might go, well, our last criteria was pink. Well, it's not very pink, is it? Because there weren't many pink pieces. So they might give themselves a 0 for pink or whatever. And then they can make recommendations. And that might be how they can improve their design and then check their criteria. Were their criteria really successful? And they might say, well, the pink criteria wasn't a really good criteria to have because it wasn't possible, so we might change it to colourful or something like that. So the whole time they're evaluating and assessing, you know, their design, and then they go back and then they might brainstorm ideas and do that whole thing again. The important thing, is that at the end they have a role where they have to evaluate the process and reflect on their design. So that's the whole process.
So you basically gave them a very open-ended task.
And I think, yeah. And they're really involved in setting the parameters and things. And then I'll pass over to Tanya because she'll talk about how they actually do the coding and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, we've also done Scratch with the using the actual software itself, which is more like Scratch Junior, to create the sprites. So this is done by a grade 2 class. And they had some criteria to use, like they had to use at least two sprites and 1 background and some sound and make them move and talk. So I'll just check what the starting button is, which is space to start it. So this has been created by a grade 2 student, and it's just slightly not focusing, so it is a bit difficult to see. So using very simple code, not using too many different codes, just a few simple ones, but yeah, unfortunately you can't see it, but they've got some characters talking to each other, doing a slight bit of movement and changing backgrounds.
Cool. Hang on. Before
so
we
again,
continue,
giving them some criteria, and then they. Sorry.
well, I was about to say before you continue. So for the rest of the audience, teachers, if you've got any questions, there is a hands up button and a question button after the initial presentation of the Narangba State School group. What we'll do is we'll open the floor. And then we'll continue on to the next lot of questions. So just get ready, type your questions if you've got them handy. Just press the hands up button if you'd like to speak. Otherwise, there's a question button there that you guys can press. So I'll open that channel up so Julie and the team can have a chat with you. So sorry, Tanya, go ahead, mate.
That's okay. I was just saying we use the same process as the grade 3s then, and where they had a certain criteria, and then at the end they reflect on how their clip met that criteria and what they did well, what wasn't so well, and what they thought was interesting. So following that same sort of make, praise, design process that teachers are familiar with, but just changing it to a new technology.
So this, to reiterate, this basically does meet the outcomes that the syllabus requires us, but at the same time, it includes, if I dare say so, 21st century learning techniques as well.
Hmm. Um, the new Australian curriculum has two facets in technologies. One is design and technologies and one is digital technologies. So the first one, design and technologies, that's that actual process that we talked about, the design, make, appraise type stuff.
Yes.
And the second one, the digital technologies, I've actually gone through the curriculum and it hits nearly every one of the aims of the technologies curriculum and the, what am I trying to say, the key ideas in the bands. So it really does help to make sure that we're covering the curriculum.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so this is a massive impact to the students. I mean, majority of the One Education community would have students about the same age. How young can you get them started being exposed to this type of technology?
Well, the youngest we've used at the moment is grade 2, but that's using the Scratch version on Sugar, which is a little bit more difficult to use.
Okay.
What I've seen of Scratch Junior, we were attempting to maybe start using that even with some grade 1 students.
Oh wow, even as young as grade 1.
Yeah, so we've definitely used with grade 2, and with that new Scratch Junior, the interface looks a little bit more simple to use, so I would even attempt to use that with grade 1 students.
Thanks, Tanya. Thank you. And now, what was the greatest challenge that you guys have found in the implementation of this, of Scratch?
I think it was the fear by the teachers of whether they had the knowledge and the capability to be able to properly assess it or to get the kids to do it, because they wouldn't know how to help them or whether, how to assess it. Yeah, and I think that was probably our biggest one. So as part of our before the assessment with the students to get them using Scratch on their XOs, we had an incursion and with a fellow, and he also did a session with the teachers, particularly the year level who were using it as one of their main technology assessments for that term. And so after he had done the incursion and really broke it down simply for them, they felt confident then to be able to get their students to do that and to actually write a criteria sheet, a rubric, and that sort of thing for the assessment task. And the students are never the thing that holds you back, because we underestimate what students are capable of. We found that they're so much more capable of these things than we are, because they don't have any fear of getting it wrong when they're having a go at it. They'll have a go, whereas, I don't know, I think as adults we're always more cautious, because we don't, although we'll take a risk, we don't want to be using something that we don't feel confident with.
Yes,
and
yes.
I think that was our biggest hurdle, I would say.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's actually quite humbling to hear as well. The question now is, besides the incursion, there's I mean, okay, I'm a pre-service teacher, so I still have a lot of ways to go before I can call myself an actual teacher. But what I have noticed is there are a lot of pride that comes along with teaching, because it's like it's something that you do, and it's not really a job, it's a calling, isn't it?
Correct.
But for you to then again humble yourself even more and accept the fact that these students might know more than you, I'm a fairly proud fella. How am I going to be able to then cope with that? It's like with these young whippersnappers.
I think, can I just say something there? I think it's a bit of a mindset, because sometimes as teachers we think we've got to have all the answers and be able to show the students how to do things. Whereas when we're using stuff like this, it's all about problem solving, and the kids being able to solve problems themselves. So we really don't want to have all the answers for them. We want to have them, give them a little bit of knowledge and then to run with it and do their problem solving with it. So I think really we have to have that mindset that we're going to let the students solve the problems themselves, so we don't need to have it all.
Fantastic, fantastic. I had an experience actually when I went to one of the schools in New South Wales, and we had a few students actually hack in to someone else's Wi-Fi down the road. It's right next to it's in a suburban area, and you know this young bloke of year 3, and that's beyond my capability. I'm not too bad with computers, but this young bloke, just blew me away. So I guess this is what we're going to be expecting nowadays, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So, besides everything else, so you've shared with us how the curriculum outcomes are being. Julie, could you twist the camera to point down a little bit more, please?
Actually, no, we turned it off.
We could.
Happy now?
Oh, there you go. So, what I wanted to ask now is that we've spoken a little bit about how the schools can benefit by having the XOs and the changing of the mentality, of course. But when it comes to the impact of these XOs, what do you think will be the impact to these students now that they've had a bit of taste of coding, going on to the more senior side of schooling when they come into high school? What impact would you foresee that'll have for them?
Well, I think it's like the ability to problem solve. Well, that's what with Scratch is they drag a brick over and code over and they try and see if it works, and if it doesn't work they have to have another go and work out why it's not working. So it's really getting in those problem solving skills of they've got to work it out themselves.
Okay, cool.
And also teamwork, because we always have teams working on things. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, so I'm going to take a quick break from asking your team the questions. I'm going to put the questions now on the audience side of things. Firstly, thank you so much for listening with us. Don't worry, I've recorded everything is being recorded. I've got 2 sets of recording happening at the same time. The question that I have for the teachers involved is there something that you will be willing to trial at your school? So the floor is now open, teachers. Please feel free to raise your hand or hang on. I've got Katie over here. I've got Katie from Flinders. You've muted yourself, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Yep, there we go. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Go
Hi,
ahead.
how are you?
So, do you reckon you'd be able to?
Yeah, look, I find it really fascinating the things you guys are doing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Can you guys hear Miss Frew?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just think it's really great what you're doing, and we definitely want to try it here. I've got a 2-3 class. We've just got 60 XOs for our Year 2 cohort. So yeah, I've tried Scratch on the desktop computers in our lab before, but never on the XOs. So yeah, all the stuff you're doing looks really great.
The benefit there is that they can move around with it, can't they? And they can have their XO on the floor if that's where the machine is working, or they can, really flexible and use it.
Yeah, and do you know, can they take photos? Like I know on the desktop you can insert like a photo, so you're making yourself animated on Scratch. Do you know if they can do that in Scratch Junior?
Just can I answer that one for you?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So I've actually tried it already, and yes, you can. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah. On one of the trial programs you've got me looking like the Godzilla monster eating a city.
The kids will love that.
Awesome. All right.
All
So
right, thanks very much, guys. It's great.
cool. Thanks, Katie. All right, guys. I'm just gonna put
Uh,
Katie on mute now. All right. So folks, I'm going to open the floor again to everybody. Any other questions or statements that you'd like to give to the team at Narangba? See, this is the hardest part. when, you know, it's just like this silence everywhere. It's like, is everybody here? Anyone listening to me? Or I'm just rambling on again.
We're listening.
Oh, at least I know someone is. Okay, so I might twist it on its head for the moment. So thank you so much, Julie, Tanya, and the team. Thank you so much for your participation. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show everyone what Scratch Junior looks like, and I'll go through a quick tutorial. Now, don't laugh at me, you guys, because you already are a bit advanced in terms of in terms of what I can do versus what you guys can do on Scratch. So I'm just going to quickly change presenter modes to me now. Yes, and show my monitor. Okay. Okay. So teachers, could you guys see my, oh, what happened to my, sorry, my little EXO mirror got lost. 10.0.0. Apologies. .199.
I hope I'll do this by myself.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, that's done.
And the webcam thing?
Okay.
No.
Cool. So, all right, teachers, what I'm doing now is actually I might ask for a bit of help from Julie and the team. So this is Scratch Junior on the Android for the EXO Duo on Android. What I'm just going to press home, and I'm going to go into the programming itself. So if you press the plus button, that'll start a new project. So Julie, just kindly, if I'm messing it up, just kind of guide me here, because I've only played. You guys.
We haven't done a lot with Scratch Junior. We've done a little bit, but yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. So with Scratch Junior, you can actually modify your avatar, which is quite exciting. And say, for example, you'd like to change Scratch's color by pressing the little paintbrush. You actually get to the palette. So I'm actually using the XO mouse trackpad instead of my finger, because I'm a fairly chubby fellow, and I've got fat fingers. So I'm going to I'm working on it. So I'm going to
Hang on, I should mute her.
hi. Okay, so I'm going to quickly change Scratch's color.
I didn't realise that we were unmuted again when we were giggling. That's all.
Ah, right. That's okay. Okay, so you can actually just tap the screen. Oopsie. So in terms of making the cat do some work, okay, so I'm going to change a background. I'm going to, say, for example, do a safari with Scratch. I've chosen the safari background there, and I'm just going to press the tick button. I'm going to drag Scratch over here, okay, and I'm going to make Scratch walk 5 steps, and I'm going to make Scratch jump. So let's play that one. Nah, that's too low. So I'm going to put that at 9. There you go. Let's see how high you can jump now, Scratchy. There you go. So the arrows that you see here are directional arrows, and they can direct where the character on screen will go, and it basically gives the children a bit of animation, and it gives them an opportunity to create with their imagination as well. It gets quite cool. So I'm going to add another character there. So let's say that it's a zebra. So I just selected that with my finger, and then I'm going to press the tick button. Okay. So let's see if we can shrink the zebra down. Okay. You can see where I'm going with this, aren't you? So the aim of the game is for us to get the zebra to be pounced on by Scratch. So Scratch is the deadly lion, right? And the zebra, what we're going to do with the zebra is we're going to drag the zebra down, and I'm going to make that repeat. I'll just add another column. So I just made a boo-boo there. So what I've done is I've added another character, and I want the character to go one forward and one square down, and I want that to be repeated until Scratch can pounce on him. So I've got this repeating function here. Now I've accidentally dragged another arrow there. I don't need that. So for me to get rid of it, I'm just going to press and hold until it's away from the rest of the blocks, and I'm just going to flip it up and drop it, and that'll destroy it. Okay. So I'm going to put that on repeat. So I encourage you teachers, don't be too afraid of this because it's actually quite intuitive. So if I press that, so it slowly lowers the zebra. So I'm going to put him back to, so I'm trying to find a spot to make him, okay, that's better, that's better. So to get him back to the place where you started up, you press the green flag. So I'm going to press this again. He moves. And I'm going to press this green flag here. Hang on, let me highlight that. And that resets the positions. Okay? So if I press that, the portrait, so this portrait here, so let me reset all of that. So if I press this portrait here, I can see what the animation looks like. I did something wrong. I didn't put a start on it. Sorry. I forgot the little green flag. I apologize. Okay. So start that. So there you go. So that's the simplest way I can show you, everyone, what can happen. Yeah, you might as well start recording now, and then I'll come back in today later. So, teachers, when it comes to this, it's quite a simple app to get started with, but as you can tell, the more complex you can make it. So there's a lot more aspects to it. Let me just add an. Hang on. Let me go back home. And say, for example, you'd like to actually use Scratch for the students to have a spelling test or something like that. You can actually have, instead of Scratch, you can have a, actually, let's leave Scratch in there. I'm going to show you how to delete this. So if you press and hold until it starts to wiggle like that, you can see you can press the X button and that'll delete that character. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, but can you not use Google Spreadsheet? Okay. And instead of a character, I'm going to draw a letter. Freeform, nice and thick. There you go. J. Can add another character here. So I'm pressing the paintbrush. I'm going to press an O. So you can see where I'm coming from in this case. I'm trying to get the students to spell my name. Say, for example, oops, nope, I don't want a cat. All right, great. Thanks a lot. Like I said, I do apologize. I've got fat fingers. Okay. Yeah, that will all happen. That will all happen. Right. Oopsie. Undo. Apologies for the atrocious handwriting, but gonna move that there. Gonna move that there. Yeah, so they're going to do the core model. So in this instance, what I'd like for the students to do is, say, for example, rearrange the letters to spell a name. And they're not allowed to just touch and they're not allowed to touch and rearrange it on the screen, but they have to use the commands to do so. So that's one way you can have the students to learn a bit of problem solving. And on the background, let's give them some spaces so they can put the letters on. Okay. So the mission is the children needs to program each of these letters so it'll rest on the lines. So that's one way, one method that they can actually, you can actually use this as for creativity, for a bit of spelling as well. I'm currently talking to the guys from scratch to be able to have a method here. Sorry, let me change my ink. I want them to actually have it so it's going to have a savable file. That way, as a teacher, you can prepare one file that the students can all work from, and then you can then shoot that over to the students using ES File Explorer or using a USB stick. So there's still a bit of work to do on that side of things, but it's in terms of having Scratch Junior on your Android, it's available now on your App Universe. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. So any questions so far? Oh, yes, ma'am.
The other thing I was going to say was our Year 6s also created a game in Scratch where they had like a maze and a person had to, get to or a character had to get to a certain goal and had to pick up things on the way and that sort of thing.
Oh, cool.
So they were able to do that, and just looking at that, that's something that they would be able to do in Scratch Junior as well.
Perfect. There you go. Awesome. So, do you have the game there handy? Would you like to show it to us, or not really? Oh, you do? Awesome.
Oh yeah, can you see that?
Yes, perfectly. Hang on. Let me make you presenter so everybody can see it.
Oh, you have to say share my screen.
Hang on. Teachers, could you see Julie's Could you guys see Julie's screen?
Is that it?
Yeah,
Now?
I think they can. I think they can. Awesome.
So that's with the Scratch programming. They were able to do that. I have no idea what they were doing, but obviously
Yeah, they've got to use the arrows. They've programmed it so they can move the fish. They have to get him to the B without getting hit by the crabs.
Oh, wow.
see the fish. Sorry, is that better?
Perfect. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Hang on. Let me just ask the audience. Hi, Miss Holland, you there? Akasha, can you see the screen okay?
Yep, that's good.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Cool. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So they move they use the arrows, like Tanya was saying, to move the fish, and he has to avoid it. I mean, his goals obviously, I don't know, whatever that thing is in the middle, and he has to avoid the crabs on the way through and that sort of thing. So
That is really smart.
they used to do that for their assessment. Yeah. They had fun doing it too, so that was really good.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I never knew it. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. There you go. All right,
And
teachers.
that's in Scratch.
So, awesome. So you can
So will I
actually.
stop sharing that now?
Yeah. That's it. Tremendous.
I'll just get Tanya. We'll just go back to where the script was for that, the coding was. So that was the coding that they used to do it on the yellow and the blue there.
Yes. Yes.
So obviously the coding in Scratch is a little bit different to the coding in Scratch Junior. Scratch Junior, it's a little bit less complicated and more icon based, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
But a lot of the instructions are just repeating the same things, you know, like move here, move there, when this happens, then that happens.
That's right.
So
Yes.
I'm not sure how much of that is available in Scratch Junior, but a lot of the basic things would certainly be still available.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and you guys got to remember that we've got a good relationship with the Scratch Foundation, and the reason that they've actually got the Android version out is we've kind of bugged them and bugged them. So hopefully by asking them more, by giving them more feedback. So teachers, my request is please download Scratch Junior for your Android device. Have a bit of a play, and we'd love to hear a lot of feedback from you so we can send that back to Mitch and Wolfgang and Beth from Scratch, and they can reprogram it to what is going to be usable for the school. Awesome. So thank you so much, teachers. This is going to be a short and sweet webinar. That's basically it. If anyone else has any questions. I guess that's about it, folks. Yeah, so teachers, thank you so much for your time. And as always, what we'll do is we will get the recording of this uploaded to YouTube so everyone can have access to it. So let's everybody thank the team at Narangba for their assistance and for their help. If you are keen to see this again, hopefully we'll have representatives from Narangba present at the 5:30 webinar. If not, it's just me talking about Scratch Junior. So, all right, folks, thank you so much for your time. Hang on, there's a question there. Oh, wait, no. That's Miss Potter from New South Wales just saying thank you for everyone. All right, guys, thanks so much for your time. Thanks, everybody, for participating. If there's anything else you do need, our phone number is on our website. Do give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Julie. I'll give you a call after this, yeah?
Okay, thanks, John.
Thanks,
See
guys.
ya.
Bye.